Black shirts and autofocus on mobile phones. So I have a white shirt and a black background. Therefore, overall, the picture has kind of a good exposure. So now I am running on auto exposure. So now let's see what happens if I introduce more dark. Did you see it? If I introduce more dark into the video, what actually happens is the average exposure of all the picture goes, basically the measured effect goes down. Therefore, the adjustment the camera makes is actually to up the overall exposure, which in my case overexposes my face totally. So therefore, if you want to record with auto exposure and if you don't want to constantly adjust something, I would advise either having something like a white background if you are wearing a darker shirt, or of course it also depends on your skin color, or I mean the opposite I think is true for the skin color. It's not that the opposite is true, it's just that the skin color itself also is of course something that makes the overall image lighter or darker. So it took me quite some time to figure this actually out, because I wanted to have a black background, but I also usually have worn like this darker shirt. And if I wear this darker shirt, I constantly have to expose the picture manually, which you can do on the Galaxy S10, for example, before, which you can see here if I click on here, and then I click on lock, and then I can actually lock the exposure for the entire video. But the problem is that whenever you take, let's say, an automatic picture, which you can do by just raising your hand, and there are different functionalities, or just taking a selfie, then it's also overexposed. So therefore, having something that is somewhat balanced as your overall image makes sense. So therefore, I am basically using this shirt in order to increase the overall brightness of my video, for then the camera to not artificially increase the overall brightness because it thinks in the image there is not enough brightness. And that's how I kind of created this setup. Also, maybe to mention, I wanted to have some color background, so therefore I placed an LED that is actually changing colors on the floor currently. And well, I also do have a white background, but I am not using this anymore because I think this kind of works better. Maybe I will change it basically into the other one, so I could wear a black shirt and then a white background, which would probably also result in a similar exposure, auto exposure.